Well, hello, lovely people. First of all, I want to say I created this beautiful piece of work. Can you tell people what they're looking at? Well, half of it. Look how beautiful this is. I'm like so proud of myself right now. This is the start card. This is the starting card for our
This is
show.
great.
I know, isn't it? Tell the people about this variety thing right here. Who is this? Who is this person holding this
Well,
television?
holding the television, that's me. When I was in San Diego,
Yes.
the the newspaper there, not
Hmm.
in northern San Diego County, did a feature story on me, and at the time, what we did, what my the catchword was, is that they were going, "I'm okay, you're okay," and I
I
went.
remember. Yeah.
Nowhere near, nowhere near. I'm wonderful and you're
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's not a Dennis Tardan thing to say I'm okay, you're okay. It goes way too low for you.
Way too low. So I had to go into something hyperbolic.
Of
Um,
course you did, because you're Dennis. You wouldn't be Dennis if you didn't do it. So it's I'm wonderful, you're wonderful. And
right,
I
right.
so
I mean,
I'm
you look up a hyperbole in the dictionary, and there's my picture.
I know. Well, but look how awesome this looks. And then so that's the earth behind you, because one of the ways that you introduce yourself in the show is hello.
I'm
Yeah, what do you say?
wonderful. Hello, world. It's me, Dennis.
So this
And
is the
that's
world behind you. I don't know if you can tell, but that's the planet
oh,
Earth
I
behind
can.
you. Isn't that beautiful?
Wow,
I'm
that's
just admiring my
wonderful.
handiwork. I threw that
Thank you.
together.
Well, you do realize, I mean, that as the chief operating officer of this fledgling network, and I love this as a fledgling network. That means
You
we're
just want to
like
say the word
sprouting.
fledgling.
No, so we're like sprouting little
Yeah, little
feathers, and we're like going like this for the wings, and
yeah.
trying to dye them out, and and trying to say, okay, well, here we are.
I know. That's what we're doing. What's happening right now is this is great. So first of all, I want to show everyone what you're drinking. Why that's a lovely mug, Dennis. Can you tell people
Thank
about it?
you. Right. Well, this is on in one of the hats that Renee is wearing is that she is setting up our store on Zazzle, so that this is for the R&D Cafe, and this is
Yes.
the Tardan Media Network. This is the very first. This will be the original. This will be coming down. We're going to take it down, so
Yes.
whoever gets one is going to get an original. They will know that they have an original one, and
One
then
of
we're
the
going to take it
originals. We
down.
need to number them. I wish we could number them, and I wish we could have like the name. You know how like sometimes you'll get like a garment and it'll say this one by, and it'll give a woman's name. Yeah, I wish that we could like have a thing being like Lisa made this for you. That was sexist of me. There are men that work in that industry as well. I
Thank
shouldn't have
you,
said
and
that.
thank
That
you.
was
And
wrong of
I
me.
mean, we're going to be doing this we'll be doing this with hair hats, with
Hmm.
Tardon hair hats for women. We'll be doing the same thing, and so this is what we're doing as we're fledging, as we're getting a chance to leave the nest and actually make. And this is why I'm just so grateful for your work, for Jonathan's work, for Rory's work, for Diane's work, and for
Yes.
the work of this new host that we're going to be introducing, that is going to be doing an entire we're going to doing an entire series and I'm going to
Hmm.
be a part of it because it comes from my heritage, and
Yes.
because we're going to explore
Well,
all
let me
things Mexican
Well, right.
American.
Let me say something. And yes, I'm leaving the graphic up a little bit longer than I have to, just because I'm admiring my handiwork. I'm proud of myself. I'm not a
I
visual
think
artist, but
I
I think it looks
think I
cool.
think you should be, but this is the thing. These are the many hats that you wear.
Oh, yes, and let
And
me let me say something. So this is true. So right now, this is live television, and I love look,
mhm.
I thrive in chaos. Okay. And so here's the thing. So I thrive in chaos, and that's what I love about live television. So John Michael Urbano is having some technical issues. So
Yes.
he may not, this is the cool thing. If I were in the audience right now, I think this is so cool, because you're going to get two shows for the price of one. Because what we're going to do is we want to introduce today some new programming that Tardan Media Network is broadcasting. We're expanding exponentially. It's crazy. People say to me all day long, how is this even possible? How are you guys adding this many new programs? So John Michael Urbano is going to be hosting a new show. We have Powered by Women by Diane Call. Of course, Simone Deloge
Wow.
has this sports show, right?
Right,
Which you're going to
right.
talk about in
Yeah.
association with us.
Exactly.
And then we have a new
This
one.
is post game with
Post-game with
Simone.
Simone.
This is what this is all about. These are Division I athletes who have to then go from this is basically their job in school, to be an athlete in school, and then they have to make the transition into they either go pro, or not everyone gets a chance to go pro, but they have to go in and have a life and to be able to deal with how do you make that transition. And what's so lovely about it with Simone is that all of us have to make transitions.
Yes.
So it's talking about a process that human beings have to do.
Right, exactly. And so that's the thing. So we have this sports show, right? We have a women's focused show. We also have, now I'm going to bring on Jonathan Phipps, who, by the way, is wearing just as many hair hats as me today. He's been scurrying and
Jonathan has been doing so much.
I know, Jonathan is like running the network.
I'm so proud to
Me
be
too.
Of the hard work that Jonathan's been doing.
Me too. And so what I want to do is, because John Michael Urbano is having some technical issues, people are going to get to see that conversation maybe on another day. But today they're going to get to hear about Man to Man, which you and he already shot the pilot episode. And tomorrow he's going to do episode 1 with Tom Cheshire. So I'm going to bring this guy on right now. He you know, and talk about maybe what he's doing. I'll go away for a little bit. I'll be back, but you boys can play together. I'll let you boys play a little bit. I see him in the green room.
So
That's
I love that Jonathan, Renee's arranging a play date for us.
I'm arranging a play date. Like, this is fun because I know John Michael's gonna come at some point, and there's Jonathan. Everybody knows this face, and he looks disheveled. People, I'm gonna warn you. Jonathan
He's shoveled.
Look at him right now. Here he is.
It's me. Okay.
Shoveled. You're shoveled, and please, you know, and the thing is that those of you who are not follically challenged like I am, please don't.
I'm sorry.
It really is. I mean, for
That's
you know,
wrong
you
of
say
me.
a man, you say a man who has no shoes, to a man who has no feet.
It's wrong.
No hair.
It
So
was
you guys
wrong,
who go ahead.
I am sorry.
Thank you.
It was wrong. Well, here he is. I wanted to. So you guys taped this pilot. So Jonathan, I want you to talk. Jonathan, talk about Man to Man, your vision, where it came from, and give people a little teaser. And you boys have a nice play date, and I'll come and crash it in a few minutes. Okay. Bye, everybody.
You could crash the
Hello,
play date
Jonathan.
and I'm realizing now that me clean shaven makes me look that much more like Casper the Ghost. So,
you are a white man. You are you are pale, pale face.
If I fell down in a blizzard, there'd be no hope of finding me.
Nobody would ever find you.
There'd be no hope of finding me.
Yeah, exactly. That is.
Oh God. See, that's the thing.
And
me and Renee
I have an idea.
Both...
Wait. But I'm just coming for 1 second. I'm just coming.
Yes.
I have an idea, which both of you are going to hate, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to disappear, but I'm going to periodically put up a banner as a topic and see if you boys can take it. You guys both
that will be fine. That will be fine, Renee. No, the only thing is that you don't stay away too long, okay? Because that's like burying the lead.
Yes.
Okay.
You cannot not have it. You have to have. If we do not get you on the screen, our readership goes flaccid.
When we do OHW,
no, I mean, you see this, right? I mean, here's our viewership. Here's our viewership. Renee leaves the screen. So this is, we need to just remember.
I wouldn't say that, but having Ray on the screen keeps everything grounded. She keeps everything bound together.
Thank you.
That is a much that is a John. That is
I like it more the way Dennis.
way.
I feel like it was more flattering the way Dennis said it, but
Hey, you understand. There's part of her. There's part of her is 12. I like the way that you said it, John. Much more. That was a much more adult.
Dennis will throw me under the bus quick, and I had
Jonathan. Thank you for being the adult in the room.
Mm,
Dennis,
I
I have a
appreciate it.
message for you. My finger I just wanted to tell you that
Oh,
I have a
God.
scratch
See,
right
I
here.
told you. I told you. I told you.
Am I
That
going to
that
have
is
to
so.
put you two in the timeout
No,
corner?
I'm going to go
God
make my
damn,
banners.
y'all. Come on.
I'm going to go make my banners. I'll be back.
Okay, make them banners and then come back and crash our deal. So,
Hello, dear
Renee,
Jonathan.
hello, Dennis. I am. If you could see inside my mind right now, it is like it's just like a hive full of bees. They're just they're fucking. I don't even know. So I'm trying to get JMU on. He's having tech issues at the moment, which is why he isn't here. And so I promised Renee I would come in and pinch hit if he didn't
Thank
come
you.
on. So I am here now.
It was
And my
such a
class is
pleasure
fantastic.
it was such a pleasure to talk with you on the pilot episode of Man to
Yes.
Man. Where did you come up with this as a concept?
Well, I got the concept really from two places. One, I wanted to see, because as a man, I deal with a lot of depression and a lot of
Mhm.
just being tugged around in a lot of different directions. So I wanted to gauge where other men came in, where other men, how they handle it, like so. And so it came from that, and then it came also from a short-lived show that Renee did with our dear Bathsheba Yehuda called "Keep It Real."
Yes.
Those two sat down with various women and discussed a lot of what we are going to be talking about in Man to Man. And I figured that I would take that idea, that concept,
Mhm.
and translate it and flip it to include us men. And I'm hoping for not just those I'm talking to, but those I associate with. Let me switch rooms right quick. So, yeah, it'll be a little bit quieter. But yeah, this is going to be a concept where I'm doing 1,000 different things right now. So
I can tell. Well,
if I
let me
scattershot.
one of the things that
Right.
I'm so grateful for is that there is a societal impression
Mhm.
when I was growing up
I gotta
of
leave just 1 second. Just give me a second.
bye.
And no, I'll be right back. I'll be
He's
right back.
coming
Oh,
right
okay.
back. But that's me
I
coming
am.
in
This
because
is
I
a
don't
mess,
trust you
y'all.
guys alone. I want to be involved. This is my control issues. Okay. And first of all, Dennis, you're going to be very proud of me. Look at this. Let me show you. These are some little crow's feet coming in.
I'm
You see
so
that?
glad.
You see
This is
that?
why you are
No
for
makeup other than the
no.
eye. I just have the eye, but you
Thank
can see no
God.
makeup and you
Thank
see the
God.
crow's feet.
One of the things that we're doing, and
Mhm.
to let everybody know, is that Renee is growing up. She
Can you
is
stop?
40. No, seriously. She is
Okay.
40 and fabulous. And we're
40
talking
and
about
fabulous.
this because this is the demographic that we want to reach. We want to
Yes.
reach the power women who are coming to make the changes in the world. And all you have to do is look. I mean, if you want to know, just look at some of the pictures from Afghanistan right now, and you look at some of
Yes.
the pictures of the Taliban, and you'll see exactly what the challenges are when we have toxic masculinity. This doesn't mean that the
Toxic
men are bad.
masculinity, not
This isn't
masculinity, but
not
toxic. Yes.
masculinity. And so what
Mhm.
Jonathan and I are talking about, and what he's going to be doing on his show,
Mhm.
Man to Man,
Man
is
to man.
talking about how do we have healthy masculinity? What does that
Yes.
look like, feel like, taste like? How does it work? How do we get a chance to show up
How do we get a
as
chance to show up? And I hate to interrupt, but
no, you
Jonathan,
don't. Why
I'm
lie?
gonna
Why would you lie? Why would you lie? I
because
hate
look,
to interrupt that, because this
we
is
Go for
have
it, Renee.
anybody that knows you knows that interrupting is one of your key and core things you do.
this is the
You
truth. I want to
you
tell wait, let me tell everyone.
Okay,
Dennis, that
go,
I'll
Renee.
tell people later
I,
because I don't want to waste any more time because John Michael is here.
Oh,
John
he
Michael is
is?
here. So
I'll shut up and get off then.
John and I are
never.
going to go back into the peanut gallery. We're going to watch with you guys, but John Michael is here. And that's because of all the work that Jonathan Phipps did, who, he's like Atlas and he's carrying the network on his shoulders. That's why
Oh,
he
boy.
looked disheveled when we came on. Okay, bye.
My hair is going to
John
be gray
Michaels.
by next week.
Bye, everybody.
I'm very happy to be here.
Hola, John Michael.
I'm just kidding you. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here, guys. Hello, how are you doing?
Oh, my pleasure. I am so glad that you're here because, John Michael, growing up in my life as a Mexican citizen before I was an American citizen, and then coming to Texas, and then getting a chance to, I really feel like that one of our problems here in the United States is that we are too beige. The entire country suffers from beigeness, and the one thing that the Mexican brings to the party is color, passion, vision, the wonderful, the reds, the greens, the loveliness that we can do. But we have a situation here in the United States where the Mexican, what I would want to talk about is how the perceptions of what it means to be a Mexican. What is a Mexican? Because people will ask me, they'll say, well, you don't look Mexican. And I say, you don't know what Mexican is, because the Mexicans go from the whitest of white to the blackest of black and all shades in between. And so what I want to talk with you about, what I want to begin the subject on it, is that now you grew up in Victoria, Texas, as I did. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, born and raised here in Texas.
And you grew up in a Mexican family, the Urbanos, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Did
sir.
you have what year were you born?
Born in 1973.
In 73. So what was your concept of being did your
A
family?
young Hispanic?
Yes.
The young, well, of course, you got to say, the people, it just depends on who you associate with. Unfortunately, I have the ability to associate not only with Mexicans, but with
Right.
Hispanics, with Latinos, with Chicanos, with
Exactly.
Tejanos. It's a broad spectrum when you say that, because when people hear you say, Mexican, a lot of people, Hispanics, Latinos, Chicanos,
Yeah.
Tejanos will not associate with that, because they're going to say something like, well, it just depends. So I think the broadest way to say is to say the Latinos of this area, because it's a huge spectrum of
Exactly.
people.
Exactly. Okay. And is this now when the term Latinx came up, what does that mean? Because I haven't been able to understand that yet. What is Latinx?
I think the Latinx term comes from the diversity of Latinos in general, because it's not, for example, you got to think of Asia as in being, there's so many different cultures and so many countries in that.
The Malaysians.
In Asia.
Exactly. You have the
It's the same thing
Malaysians, you have the Thais,
with Latinos.
exactly. The Indians.
It
are Asian.
crosses continents, it crosses oceans.
Yes.
Also. So I can only say what I am familiar with here in the South Texas area. And being here in Victoria, it all starts with the family. Of course, it all starts from what your family, when you wake up in the morning. You know how your mother wakes you up in the morning. He may sing you a little song. When you scrape your knee, sana sana colita de rana. She, something funny like it. It all comes from, again, the passion of making you feel happy. Being raised a Hispanic, it's definitely the way we were raised. It's all about respect.
Yes,
for sure. My father kept a very respectful household. We were very respectful to him at all times.
Right.
And the same thing with my mother as well too. So people thought that we were very well versed in etiquette in our household.
Did you feel the caste system, that there was the Anglo? Right now I'm reading "Forget the Alamo," which is a and Renee's reading it also, and it really talks about the Anglo narrative that was here in Texas. and exactly how that worked with the Tejanos and work with the Mexicanos and
Right.
that we're doing. So did you recognize that as a caste system when you were growing up?
Well, to think about as far as like education is concerned in history, necessarily the Latinos weren't taught about Latinos too much
Right.
in schools, and how much that they contributed to society even way back when. That you don't necessarily hear about tons of Latino wealthy landowners coming from way long time ago, and then there's
Exactly.
situations that are responsible for that. And but I think that what it comes down to it is, again, back the education from what you received in the church, the Catholic Church itself,
Which
when it
was a
came
big
to let's see, celebrating, when you're celebrating, when you're coming up and you're growing up as a Catholic, you're going to Bible studies.
yes.
You're going to, because as soon as you come out of it, you're baptized.
Yeah.
As soon as you're going to school, you're going to school in the church as well, going to CCD as it was. God bless you, all you sisters that I had to terrorize when I was younger. I'm so sorry. Fortunately, my mother was a CCD teacher at the Catholic Diocese here in Victoria.
Right.
And so I was brought into the classroom a little bit earlier than what I should have, because I was in my mother's classroom and just kind of sitting around, possibly stirring up trouble for her. Sorry, Mother. But it came down to it to where I felt that love from my mother to help educate others, because as I started getting older and going through school, because I was more involved in CCD teachings and stuff with my mother and such, I would be going to school and notice that a lot of my friends who are also Catholic did not know a lot of the things that just were standards to us.
Yeah.
And so I got involved as I got a little older in teaching and education there at the Our Lady of Victory Parish, which was fantastic, a wonderful time and great learning experience there. Extremely humbling.
Now, did you grow up bilingual? Was Spanish
Somewhat.
spoken in the home? I mean, was
Somewhat, but you got to understand, during that time, my father and my mother, of course, they experienced more racial prejudices
exactly
than I did when I was growing up. And so it was standard for the Hispanic at the time to say, you know what, try not to speak so much Spanish, or to not
Exactly.
have any accent whatsoever, in order for you to gain a little bit more ground here. Because, if you do have an accent, even now to this day, you may be questioned by some people, unfortunately.
It's
And
part of. I mean, that's part of what we're talking about where we are. I mean, because we're looking at our governor, the governor here in Texas, Governor Abbott, and they're talking about all of these the illegals and all of this amazing opportunity, this place of opportunity, but it hurts my heart. I sit there and I get in the car and I drive down the street and I look at who is it that is pouring the pavement? Who is it that's getting up on that roof in the middle of the hot day and reshingling? Who are the people? Who are all these people? These people that are doing the kind of labor that many of us do not want to do, and that we're doing, and then we carry the kind of disparagement that we have. It hurts my heart.
Well, it all comes down to what you had on the plate in front of you when you were growing up. A lot of these people, you got to understand, they came from a life that extremely hard. Everyone's having to work and to make sure that food is actually on the table for their children.
Exactly.
For anyone to have experienced any type of hunger for their child is I'm sure, the absolute most heartbreaking thing that could possibly happen when you're not able to feed your own children. So of course, they're going to do anything they can to get out there and in the sun, whatever, no matter what it is, to put food on that table. Now, fortunately, a lot of people here have not experienced that. And so it comes down to the hardships that you face. You know, when you face these hardships, you got to get up, you got to keep going, you got to put food on the table. And unfortunately, there are some individuals out there that have found a way around the system to where it's more beneficial to them to sit at home than
Absolutely.
to get out there into the workforce. And I guess if there was, I think, just a better checks and balances, if there was such a thing, then I think it would be, at least better for our economy and everything too, because it's a little bit of checks and balances business here and there, and you can kind of weed out the bad ones, I guess.
You're
You know,
right.
so.
I mean, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John Michael. I'm hearing some feedback when I'm talking with you.
Okay.
On my
Check.
end, I'm trying to figure out how I can fix it on my end. But John
It
Michael,
might be my air condition. This is Texas.
yeah. What I'm interested in is that how is it that we can find ways to appreciate each of our cultures, find ways that we can appreciate.
I think. Let me see. Okay. Well, we have. I think as long as like we keep doing things like this, like being able to share each other with each other on our different lives, it opens the doors to people. So people can actually see what goes on. It's not so much different from what they are, and
Isn't that the truth?
It breaks down. Excuse me. It breaks down the barriers that people have put up unconsciously just from what they were taught. Now,
Exactly.
one thing that, like for example, what I tell my son Caleb is that that I'm not the same father that my father was to me. It's just not the same times, and where it's not the same things. Now, I try to take everything that he has given me and use it to the best of my abilities, but I myself as a father must try to evolve just as a human being. And so I would want him to be, or try to evolve further than what I have as a father. But he better listen to me, or I'm gonna look that down.
Well, I'm interested in that, John Michael, just in the sense of that we in the Mexican culture, we grew up with a culture of machismo. Where we needed to, where a man would have to be the center and have to be the while he may not have been exactly the head, because I believe in abuelita power, the power of the grandmother coming through the family, but
Very
to be,
powerful, yes.
but to be able to say that, how can we be a man? What is this? Because you have chosen to evolve. And I mean, I know you went into theater and you went into music, and this, did that have a big influence on you?
Yeah, well, to be honest, when I first started in music, I was in high school. I had to keep it a secret from my father. Very machismo gentleman.
Yep.
And so he, like a lot of men raised at the time, were raised with an iron fist.
Yep.
My father was born through midwife out on a ranch. So my grandmother was extremely tough, and just like a lot of women out there, not taking, and no matter midwife or not, you're all tough as nails. So I'm sorry, but just to what my father had to go through out there, and my grandmother, God bless her. So it was different for him. He grew up out at a ranch. His father. My grandfather.
I mean, they were caballeros. They worked on the ranch. They worked on. This was a working ranch. I mean, we're talking about with we're talking about with cotton. There were cattle, and there were all the things that it takes to keep a store. Now, are you related to Andres Urbano?
All the Urbanos in this area are.
All of the Urbanos are, all right, because that was.
We all come from one family line out from the McFadden Ranch and further.
Right. And so
Yeah,
that's
so the two famous guys from that is Porfirio and Sabas Urbano.
Sabas
Sabas,
Urbano. Sabas was the
yes.
most. This was a character. If I could do, if I could, did you ever meet him?
No, unfortunately, I did not.
No, you could not. But I am telling you, this guy was larger than life with the cowboy boots and the beautiful and the smile and the. He was just an extra. Sabas Urbano was an absolutely iconic character. I would love to know. Are there people alive who still knew him?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, actually, the current ranch owners out there in that area that still hold the polo matches out there, they sit around and tell me stories of Porfirio
Yes,
and
Porfirio and
his
Sabas.
horsemanship. And
Yeah.
he was quite the horseman, and he taught uh, several fantastic gentlemen how to ride and how
Yep.
to
How
roam
to take
around.
care of it and how to take care of the horses.
Even the new young cowboys have great stories that have been handed
Yep.
down to the gen. They know more about them than I do, actually,
That
which
is
is
just.
unfortunate, but it's pretty cool. Yeah.
But that's part of what we're doing. So tell me, John Michael, the show that I want to pitch to you is that I really want to pitch to you a show that both celebrates where is the conversation, the Latinx conversation going? How are we going to have this opportunity to empower the Latinx generation and to be able to have them to take the roles that can benefit this country so much. And that's the show I wanted to pitch to you. That's the show I would like to be part of with you.
Excellent.
Is to be able is that we can have these conversations with the journalists, with the people who are in business and industry about how do we expand this diversity? How do we expand this to make it a vibrant part of the United States?
Well, when you started talking about that, the first thing that comes up in my mind are these nonprofits. There's nonprofits all around Texas and all around the United States that thrive on helping people. And a lot of them are generated towards the youth. One of them that comes to mind is the Network for Young Artists. That's nya.us.org, I believe is what it is, that I was involved with many years ago. That was a Terry Lowery, who was the president at the time who founded it, was a coach out of San Antonio, a teacher, and just a great guy. He found all these fantastic kids, didn't have a whole lot of, that had tons of time on their hands after school, that had tons of talent. And then just started coming up with the idea, hey, let's put them together. Let's teach them some guitar. Let's let them sing karaoke music in front of people. And the next thing you know, there was a studio. There were kids. They were making CDs. They were singing in Market Square every weekend. We donated equipment, and John Michael Carry On, Daniel Lugo, Travis Bella. We're talking lots of people that were involved. Matt Bella as well, and everybody in the Network for Young Artists organization. All those people, all they were trying to do was just help young people succeed,
right?
No matter what they were doing, if it was Spanish music or what have you. So I think when it comes down to it, it's more nonprofits, more community involvement.
Yes.
You know, right now the involvement is generated more towards sports. You know, sports, and then there's not too many other things for children of this area in Victoria, like not like bigger cities, that of course. So I think like for this area and smaller rural areas, to have more abilities to do more things, such as getting involved in media, in music, in art, in dance, in theater, and have access to those things, just as you would a food truck driving through, you know, and say, hey, let's go do this real quick. That sounds great.
That's great. And one of the things that I love so much about that, John Michael, is that if I think about that whenever I'm looking at the railroad cars go by, and I look at that, and I look at all the graffiti that is on the side of the railroad car, and I see the intricacies of that, and nobody's paying them to do that. Nobody. I mean, we're talking about this is a lot of work and industriousness goes into finding the design, getting the perspective, working I mean, that is a natural part of the human being. Why can't we take that natural part and put it to ways to decorate and beautify the world?
What it comes down to again is that doorway. They need to know that there is a door that they can knock on so that they can walk into that place where they need to go. And they just need the connections. So if we could make those connections more readily available for youth, then and trustworthy connections, that is,
Yes.
because there's so many trolls and so many evil things out there. It's hard to know what you can trust, especially because there's so many people and things out there that can steer you the wrong way.
Sure.
But yes, it could just an easy connection. So, for example, you have an artist. Hey, here's a venue. Come and show some stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess it really comes down to venue, and then people to want to just say, let's show what you got, and I don't want too much from it. That's just you succeed, and that's all we need.
So what's happening? What's happening in Victoria that you know of that are things? I mean, now for people that don't know that are getting a chance to see is that Victoria is a small city in South Texas. If you were to draw a line from Houston down to Corpus Christi and bisect that line about 30 miles in for the coast, you would see Victoria, Texas, and it's a city of about 70,000 people, and it is a lot of ranching and oil and gas and real estate, and so this is the city that I grew up in, that John Michael you grew up in, and so that is the place where that locates us on geographically on the map.
Correct. Yes, the coastal bend.
Exactly.
So I like to say it's definitely the crossroads. 2 hours from Houston, 2 hours from San Antonio, an hour and 45 from Corpus, and pretty much everything else is about the same thing.
Yep.
It's just it's the heart of the coast is what it is.
Right.
I think.
And
you can get to pretty much any beach, the same thing too.
Exactly, and you're right there, and you're right there. So John Michael, tell me what are you doing right now? What kinds of things are you interested in? Give me a little bit of update on you.
Okay, well, of course, my life revolves around performance in any way possible, whether it's doing some type of art or music or theater or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently right now working. Been talking with a couple of gentlemen about doing some rock music for the Victoria area. I myself have been, since the pandemic had started, I had picked up the guitar and started playing and was able to teach myself some guitar through the wonderful app of Ultimate Guitar Tabs.
Yes.
And through what else?
Well, you're
Guitar
not going
Tuner.
to be able. You're not going to be able to leave us with that. You're going to have to give us an example. You're going to have to give us a little música, por favor, hermano.
Oh yeah. I will here in just a. I'm going to have to tune the guitar. So.
All right.
But, so let's see. Talking about music.
Now
again,
you grew up in a musical. You've been in musical theater.
Yes.
You've done. You name an important play, and you have either had the lead or one of the leads in every single production there in Victoria over the course of the last 20 years.
It seems like that, but there's been huge gaps in between different ones. Yes.
Really?
I've had the honor. I've had the honor of playing some really, really awesome characters for Theater Victoria. It really started as far as, It started with singing. My father did not want me singing and being in choir, but when of course, I went. There was a cute girl that was in one of my classes, so
Yeah,
I wanted to go and see
yeah.
what it was about. I didn't know I could sing until Jeannie Furman, God rest her soul, Jeannie Furman, at Victoria High School. She said, "Come and sing," and she plucked out some notes on the piano, and then said that I had a very very vast range. And so then I secretly talked to my mother about it. She said it was okay, switched some classes. Miss Furman talked to my mom, and we kind of kept it a secret from my dad until the end of the year where we had a big performance. And so, and it was just like a movie show where I just get on stage and the whole theater's dark and my song's about to start. And then the door opens and the light shoots through and it's the silhouette of my dad. And I didn't know what to do. I was just frozen, and music started, and the rest is history. And so he supported me, and then theater came into play. I started. I didn't even know I could do this kind of stuff, and it was a great friend that asked me to be part of the cast and just doing some dancing and singing in the chorus. Then I did, and it was Hello Dolly. I was able to do a great little stunt and roll down these semicircular stairs, and it was very dangerous but really cool looking. And then I was sold that you let me do something dangerous. I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll do it for sure. So after that, they gave me the lead in Guys and Dolls, which was I played Sky Masterson in that, and that was a great. Norma Rojas did the costumes on that one. She's amazing, and she okay, you got to know theater, but she took all these she took so many suits and took this glow paint and put pinstripes on all the suits in all different colors and gave me two suits. And from up close, it looked so funny, but from the audience, all these pinstripes were just like rocket straight. It was absolutely gorgeous. So Norma Rojas, God bless her.
What
For
a talent.
what
I
a
mean, she did the costumes for so much in the theater,
yeah.
that I've seen her do. Did you ever want to do something ethnic like Zoot Suit?
Yes. Oh, that was one of the definitely the ones I'd pushed for, especially like when I was in college and stuff.
Yeah.
As far as doing ethnic roles, I've probably done more diverse ethnicities than anyone else in Victoria. I got to say,
Yeah.
I've even played more quadrupeds than
Yeah.
other people.
Really?
Yes, I was donkey, and then I was also horse. T. Simmons.
Yeah.
In the full Monty. So that's two quadrupeds. So I don't know anybody else that's played two. So.
Oh,
But yeah, I've got
lovely.
to play lots of different ethnicities, respectfully, of course. Comedy is I love comedy, but anything with involved in the theater is fantastic. But I did some doing Shrek the musical with Anne Bergeron. Got to do a shout out to Anne Bergeron. She's like the queen of tap. She is a huge dance guru. So if anybody sees this, Anne Bergeron, much love to you, Anne. Also working. Let's see. With Chet Walker came in and did the full Monty, and that was one heck of an awesome director to work with. That's Fosse's protege.
Yep.
In fact, if you even Google Fosse's protege to Fosse, Chet Walker's name is the first
Yep.
thing that comes up. It's the
Victoria has
awesome.
quite a history in theater. I mean, Victoria has
Yeah.
been very for. I mean, back when there used to be a thing called Little Theater. Little Theater was almost like you might say like AAA going to off Broadway to be able to go. It was a lot more professional than people would say, and people would. And the wealthy people in Victoria invested in this being part of the theater.
Oh yes. Um, and not only that, but the Theater Victoria, it is history in itself. Where it originated, that building is one of the first, was like the only place that played Mexican movies
Yes.
in the movie theater, and that's right across from Greek Brothers. If you know Victoria, Texas,
Right.
it's right across. It's decrepit right now, so it's very sad, but it still has a piece of the old Theater Victoria sign. Now, the great thing about that theater was that the dressing room was across the street, so we would have to seat everybody in the theater. And once everybody was seated, we'd get the wink wink, and then we'd run across the street in costume to the back of the building. So the funny thing was that if you had no idea what was going on, depending on the show, you could be driving by and just seeing the most outrageous characters just walking across the street, and getting back there.
Well,
Unfortunately, go ahead.
why don't you tune up the guitar for us? Why don't you tune up the guitar and give us a little bit of a flavor? Because with this has been a lot of talk, and with all the wonderful musicians that we have from our wonderful cradle of democracy, the line and the sand that is a real line in the sand, which is Georgia, and we have so many incredible Georgians who are standing up and saying we are going to keep our democracy. We are going to keep and there's so many of these musicians, and so when Renee and Jonathan and Diane and Tom and Lars and just overall, and Kim and 1,000 people I'm just not met, and Corey Lynn, for God's sakes, but that we're having a chance to be able to bring me into the love of music and the understanding of music at such a deeper level than I ever would have had before, and I get a chance to be able to do that. So I want you to play something from South Texas and bring us some music.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Well, I wish I would have prepared something. I just actually had this here for looks. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you did. Thank you.
Well, I don't. Let me see something from South Texas. Okay. Well, this is an original song. It's just an acoustic song. It's no words to it, but it's called Daggers Point, and it's just a place that's in the Oswell uh, Oswell Wildlife Refuge. It's right next to Tyboli. It's not too far from here in Victoria. If you've never gone there before, it's a beautiful refuge. There's alligators. There's miles of trails. They have like a 3 or 4 story bird lookout. That's where the whooping cranes are.
Yep.
Are seen. You can see sandhill cranes too.
Yep.
And there's lots of beautiful wildlife, lots of beautiful trails. One of the trails is called Dagger Point. It's a place where me and Elias, my youngest son, love to go out there and just pretend like we're looking for pirate treasure.
Yes.
And so I was playing the guitar one time and thought of him, and I was like, this is a little adventure.
All right.
And so it's called Dagger's Point. Okay. Let me see if I'm still tuned. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is hilarious. Because this is actually the first time I've ever played the guitar live.
Thank you.
And this is actually, if John Michael Carry-On is online, and Travis Bella, and Terry Lowry, and those from the Network for Young Artists, and Liz, you may recognize this guitar. And it's from one of the students who lost her life from an overdose there in San Antonio, and I was able to have the honor of holding on to this. So this one's called Dagger Point.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that, John Michael. I'm looking so forward for the opportunity for us to be able to see this direction and be able to have some guests on and talk about the Latinx
Oh,
experience.
sorry, that's my dogs.
No, that's all right. But thank you so much for coming on and talking with me today, my friend. I've known you for so many years, and to be able to leverage your immense talents and to be able to
Thank you.
connect with you is a delight. I'm so proud of this.
Me too, and I appreciate you, Dennis.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Abrazos.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.